YouTube. Should be good to go now. People on YouTube, let me know in the comment section if y'all can hear and see me clearly. Y'all should be able to now. All right, bet. So welcome everybody on the stream. Make sure y'all continue to tune in week in and week out. For everybody that's brand spanking new, my name is Mike.lito, and I do these streams every week. And pretty much we go over our analysis for gold, US 30, and NASDAQ 100. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be going over our trades from, well, our analysis from last week, and then I'll be giving y'all the analysis for this upcoming week. So with that being said, everybody on YouTube, does anybody have any questions to start off the live? And I know y'all kind of delayed a little bit, so I'll give y'all a few seconds to answer. I'm gonna just take a few questions just to start before we dive right into it. And then hopefully in the meantime, no chat, hopefully we can get back to our normal viewing numbers, because on my old channel, we used to be at like 170, 180 people tuned in, but now we only got 70. So if you know anybody that used to watch my lives or whatever the case may be, you might want to send this to them, because I got some gems I want to drop today, chat. So we're going to go over all of that good stuff. Sucky said, how many trades do I need to back test to go live trading? That's a good question, but overall there is no end all be all. So there is no like set amount of numbers that you need to trade. I mean, you need to back test, but I would say that you should back test and get at least like 30 to 40 wins, and then go live in your trading. That way, you know, like, okay, what I'm doing is working, and you know, like, you feel confident in your strategy. But it's not like an end all be all, like saying like just the trades themselves, but I will at least get, 30 to 40 wins in a row on the back testing with the replay tool. So if you come up here and use this replay tool here, get about, like I said, 30 to 40 wins, and then that should give you enough confidence in order for you to go live in the market. Because really that's the ultimate thing, the determining factor between somebody being a demo trader their whole life and going live is just the confidence to be willing to do it, right? So hopefully that answers your question. And then do anybody else got any questions before we get started? And I hope I ain't frozen. I think on my shit it look frozen. Okay, so here the next question said, when you get started, can you give me a little clarity since the 1 hour structure I broken? I'll go over it. I'll put the new structure. Yeah, we'll go over that because I got to get rid of all of this stuff on the chart anyways. Y'all just know, like, I don't delete nothing. When we mark up on Sunday, I just leave everything until the next Sunday. So that's why I got all this stuff on here. But yeah, we'll go over it. We'll go over gold for sure. Somebody said, yo, what's good? Any news for Forex Factory to look out for this week? Let's take a look. So today is the 8th. We got CPI on Wednesday, so that'll be fun. And then we got unemployment claims on Thursday, and then we got consumer sentiment and inflation expectations on Friday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday will be, I would say, the more volatile folders this week. I mean, yeah, the volatile news this week. But Monday and Tuesday should be pretty smooth sailing. Tuesday we might get some consolidation just because we got CPI on Wednesday. But it's a bank holiday, AUD, CHF, Euro. So if you trade any of those pairs, CHF, Euro, or the AUD, it's a bank holiday today and on Monday, just depending on the pair that you actually trade. So just be mindful of that. And then if you trade GBP, you got GDP numbers coming out on at 1 a.m. And whenever you got like numbers like that coming out on GBP pairs, they tend to bust too. So, and then you got orange folders. It ain't as impactful as the red folder, but just be mindful of that coming out at 1 o'clock as well. What kind of setups you look for? I could tell you new, because everybody know that I just trade breaks and retests, but ain't nothing wrong with being new. Just make sure you go back and watch like all of these recordings. A lot of the old recordings is on my other channel, my main channel. But if you go back to my main channel, you'll see like all of the setups that I talk about, even all of my strategy videos. Well, even I put it low key. I put it on my channel here, the playlist. So like if you new, just come here real quick. And then this the whole trading camp. Like if you watch the whole trading camp, you'll know the setups that I take. And then all of my strategy videos is in here as well. So if it says new here, start with these videos, then there's a whole playlist on my strategy, so forth and so on. But like I said, the trading camp is really the best one. So you watch this whole thing, it's 15 days worth. Hold on, we just got disconnected. What the fuck? Let me know. Okay, we reconnected. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me in the chat, because it said I got disconnected, but honestly I don't know. I don't know if we live again yet, so y'all let me know. You're back on. It was 3 seconds. All right, cool. Well, hopefully they can hear me on YouTube too, because I know my Zoom people could hear me, but I know I say this every time. I disconnected again. Hold on. Let me do something real quick. Let me try and close. I'ma close a lot of these. Fuck it. Even though I don't want to. Alright, we're gonna try that. Hopefully we should be good. I just closed every single browser besides the one I got up now, so we should be alright. You need to close your setting background apps. Alright, so for my tech savvy people that's on the stream, just give me everything I need to do and I'm gonna do it after the stream. But I just closed every single browser that I had besides the ones that I got up right here, so we should be alright. Let's see. So where was I at? They said, how many trades do you take per week? I like to take anywhere from like 3 to 4, or sometimes 2 to 4 setups per week. Will you ever do another small account flip? I mean, I can, but they just kind of like stressful. You know what I'm saying? Like the small account, I like to, like, now I'm at the point where like I'd rather just start with $1,000. Like the $100, they take a long time to build, but $1,000, $2,000, $4,000, like those little small account flips, I do those. Those ain't nothing. So I might do one again soon, but I think I gotta I don't know if I'm gonna make it a YouTube series or if I'm just gonna make it an Instagram series, but I got a series coming up that I want to do, but it's not going to involve me. It's going to involve somebody else, because y'all already then seen what I can do. I mean, I do it all the time for y'all, but I mean, I want to see like what I can teach somebody to do that don't really know how to do it. I not know how to do. So that's gonna probably be my next little series that y'all see. Um, when you were starting, what was your starting capital in the beginning? Did you ever take prop firm challenges? Yeah, I did prop firm challenges a few, I would say like a year or two ago. They cool, but they not. I don't really like prop firm challenges. But in my starting capital in the beginning, I literally started with $100. But that's when I was working in the factory, and that's literally like all I could afford to put inside the account, and then that $100 was gone like in a few days. But that's just how that's how everybody's journey. Like you gotta lose money to know how to manage the money, so forth and so on. My browser on my computer is frozen, but I don't know if let me close out some more shit. Hold on. Cause I got too much shit up. My browser froze on my live stream. So I can't even see the comments. I really can't even move the screen for real, for real. Let's see. Y'all let me know if I'm still frozen. I don't know why I gotta go through this shit every week. I just need a new freaking computer at this point. Zoom people, can y'all still hear me?
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me ask Control. My shit is frozen. Y'all keep saying delete the tabs up here. These tabs is not. This is one tab up here. Like this. I mean, there's one trading tab. The Forex Factory, I could delete that. I mean, I could delete this, but I'm telling you, that ain't what's causing it, bro. Like, that's not what's causing it. I'm telling you. Okay, I'm good on YouTube. Okay, perfect. Where's the next question? You need to close on your setting background apps. All right, I'm do that after. All right. How often will you post signals in your Signal Telegram? Whenever I take a trade, so that could be anywhere from like 2 to 4 times a week. How much for a one-on-one Lito? Hit the link in the description, and then my team will reach out to you if you a good fit. What changed when you started making a few hundred a day trading to making thousands in a day? Really, just my mindset and how I looked at the money. Like the same way you make $100, the same way you make $1,000, but the mindset behind it is really the most important, because like I was even talking to Control about this. Like it's really just your thought process on your risk tolerance. Like how much can you fathom like going in drawdown? How much can you like see on the screen without panicking? And like every person is different, so it's really about understanding like your risk tolerance and building that risk tolerance. So of course the person, if you just try to go from making $100 in a day to making $1,000 in a day, of course it's gonna make you nervous because you ain't did it. But if you gradually increase from $100 to $115 to $120 to $150 to $175, then to $200, then to $300, and so forth and so on, then it's like easier for you to actually like grow in those numbers versus just kind of trying to go from like $1,000, $100 to $1,000 overnight. So that's where you kind of just gotta build that threshold of your risk tolerance, so forth and so on. You good. Somebody said I probably need to clear my cache. Yeah, probably. You said you just need a new computer ASAP. Damn near. I've been trading GBP, USD, JJ, and gold. Do you think these pairs are good? Or do you think I should focus on 1 or 2 pairs, or 3 is too much? And how many pairs do you trade? I really stick to like 2 at a time, but sometimes I dabble into 3. Like gold is my main pair. I'll take NAS if gold ain't like the setup ain't there, and then US 30 is like my last resort. What's the most important part to being successful at trading? I mastered over leveraging and getting better. The most important thing is the mindset. So like your beliefs about trading. So like, how do you interpret the market? Do you believe that the market is a like an endless possibility of making money, or do you believe that the market is gonna take money from you every single time you in the market? Like your perception and your belief system about the market is really the most important thing, because like how you perceive it is really going to determine your actions that you take inside the market. So if one person is super scary and they like super fearful, then of course they're not going to be able to operate in a sense of taking advantage of the market. But then you got somebody that's super confident and they look at the market from just like a better perspective or objective perspective, then it's easy for them to make money. It's all about the mindset, because it don't really matter the money, the capital amount, so forth and so on. Because like y'all didn't see, even like me for example, y'all didn't see me turn $100 into $5,000 in a couple of days. Y'all didn't see me turn $1,000, $2,000 into $15,000 in a couple of days. So it's like, it's just your belief system on how you think, like how you think the market is. But for somebody that's like, oh well, you know, trading is super hard, then it's always gonna be, you know, it's always gonna be that for that person, you know, so forth and so on. So really just mastering your mindset and understanding yourself as a person it goes a long way. Do you have a weekly pip goal, or do you just trade? I have a daily, I mean not daily, I have a weekly goal that I set out for myself, but it's not necessarily based off pips. It's just based off of what I set out for that week. I like to set goals based off of what I need to pay for, and just like how much I want to make in a week. And once I hit my goal, then I'm solid. But it's not really based off of the amount of pips, because the amount of pips can differ between depending on your lot size and so forth and so on. Any plans on doing a psychology call? Yeah, we could probably do that next week, low key. I've been risking about 5 to 8% of my account. What do you risk? And do you think that 5 to 8% is good risk or too high? Because most people say 0.05 or 1%. I ain't making nothing with that. Honestly, I think that if you believe in yourself enough, 5% is 5 to 8% is cool. Like 5%, well, 8% is a little on the high side, but 5%, I think that's solid. Like the people that risk 0.50 or 0.5%, like they don't believe in themselves enough to actually like risk. Like think about it, like you putting baby amounts of risk on there because you don't believe in yourself like that. So it's really a confidence thing. How do you maintain a trade with structure? But all right, so I'm gonna take one more question because low key my student question Q&A's call is tonight, and it started at 7. So I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna get the actual charts done for y'all before I gotta hop on that. And then Contrell, I'll just answer your question. You just put your question in the blueprint, the document. So, and that's another thing. So my blueprint students, for y'all, y'all call us tonight at 7 p.m. If y'all haven't filled out the Google Doc with all of y'all questions, definitely fill that out before our call tonight, and I'll answer all of those questions inside the Google Doc. So last question is, what was your turning point into your journey? What was the moment that you knew you figured it out? It wasn't like, I swear I get asked this question anytime I do a Q&A, but it's not just like it's never just a light bulb switch. It's a progressive growth. It's not just end all be all, oh, I got it all figured out. It's like, yeah, I had aha moments with trading where like I seen structure better, or I seen, you know, fibs better, or I understand a concept better, but that don't mean just the light bulb of my trading just went off. It just like really gradually understanding myself time and time, just building on top of each other. So that's really what it boiled down to. And then once I got to a point where I was confident enough, then that's when I like ultimately like I quit my job and so forth and so on. But it's really just like it's a growth thing. Like it's one of those things where it's never gonna be just you're never gonna be 100% like the full version of yourself. Like right now, I'm still growing into a higher version of myself. Like I'm still growing into a better trader. I'm still growing into a better version of myself, and I'm not gonna reach that level until I'm off this earth. So it's just that progressive understanding of like continuing to grow and grow and grow, so forth and so on. Can I be that free person you swoop up? Nah, I already got somebody for it. Will you ever drop an automated course? I already got an automated course. It's the blueprint. It's in the description. It should be in the description. Actually, it ain't in the description, but it's on my school. But I don't feel like pulling it up. Make sure y'all got y'all mics muted on Zoom, please. But all right, so that's the end of the questions. They said, oh, and this last one. The X6M shooting fire yet? Nah, not yet. I gotta wait. But thing is, I don't know if I wanted to shoot flames because the baby, I don't really, and that's another reason why I ain't put exhaust on it yet. Cause I was gonna go, as soon as I picked up the car, I was gonna get exhaust put on it. And then my girl was like, are you sure you want to have a loud car with the baby? And I'm like, yeah, you kind of got a point. So I'm going to kind of feel out how the baby does with car rides first. And then if I feel like she can sustain having loud exhaust, then I might put it on there. But we'll see. We'll see once that time comes. But I definitely want it to shoot flames 100%. But all right, so now let's dive into the charts. So we were on here 2 weekends ago. We didn't have it last week. So we were here last week. And then I was mentioning that, all right, I want to see price pretty much respect this area and then push up to this -27. This was the target bias for the week. Ultimately, we had a deeper pullback into this level of resistance. So these previous lower high point on H4, we came back in there and pulled back into that level, and then we got our buy up to our bias for the week. So this is one of those things where you can have a bias and then price gives you a different alternative. So just being mindful of that and never being emotionally attached or too fixated on one particular bias, and being able to adapt, because once this began to break this trend line and come back and respect this level of resistance, this was giving us an indication that the market potentially could sell off to this level here. And then once we got that break of structure, we pulled back and kind of corrected and then dropped again. So I'll delete these stuff just so that we can kind of see where we at now. But let me get rid of some of this stuff real quick, just so we can get this stuff out the way. And then let me adjust this trend line as well. All right, perfect. And actually we can adjust this as well. All right, so currently where we are at inside of the market now. This is one of those things, just like how we talked about for last week, well, the week before, where we was looking for a price at that -27. Currently, we sitting at this 4-hour trend line. And let me go to my higher time frames first real quick. So we can see that on our higher time frames that we are struggling to break past this level of resistance here. So we got like this little, well, let me make this line thicker. We got this level of resistance on our weekly time frame that's being respected. So this candle failed to close above, this candle failed to close above, this one 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 closed above, but then the very following next candle closed beneath it, and then this week's candle this previous week's candle closed beneath it as well. So that's letting us know that on our daily time frame and our weekly time frame, we are at a major level of resistance. So when we understand being at a major level of resistance at a daily, weekly, or monthly level, that's going to indicate that we got some form of consolidation, which is ultimately what's happening on our smaller time frames, because we are at those levels. Anytime we at those levels, then that's when we think about the market kind of pushing away from that area slowly and not pushing away fast, right? So that's something to be mindful of. Like, even if we look to beneath us below, we had this little level of resistance that was being respected, but this consolidated. This was for let me take that off real quick. Oops, nah, I gotta delete this shit. Hold on. This whole consolidation was for 140 days before we broke out, and we've been in this consolidation here for 70 days. So like, that's something that you got to be mindful of, just so you like not trying to like hold on to a move too long, because we still in this consolidation on the higher time frames. On our daily time frame, same concept. Now, the one thing that I am being mindful of is that you see how every time this is like making a lower high point. So like, it has a chance to trickle down potentially and go further and potentially come back into this little area of support / resistance on our daily time frame. So like, those little context clues are things that you pay attention to when you looking at your bias. Like, all right, this is a lower high. Like, these is, well, not technically a lower high, but they failing to make new high points is what I'm pretty much getting at, right? So being mindful of that. And like I said, we are in this overall box of consolidation. So if we look at this, it's just one big box of consolidation, right? Now let's go to H4. H4, we have, like I said, well, I'll show you guys. H4, we kind of got this trend line, and let me clear some of this stuff off real quick. H4, we sitting on this trend line right now. Does that mean that we're gonna bounce off of this trend line? Not necessarily. We kind of got to see the behavior of price once we get there. Once we start to get some volume inside of the market. Now, where we are at, well, where I'm drawing these zones at, I should say, these zones are potential target areas. So like, we see how we trickle down into here before. We could trickle down into here again, potentially, right? So always be mindful of those things. And then we can draw this trend line here, because this trend line is being respected. So the story here is, every time price's trend line, it bounced, it bounced, it bounced. And now we sitting at this area, and we also sitting at this 4-hour trend line. So I would like to see how price reacts at this area to let me know if we are going to bounce at this particular area or are we not. That's pretty much going to base my decisions this week going forward. All right. Now on H1, we have this structure right here, and let me put this dot as such and copy this. So my students, y'all know, like this, where you draw your dots. For these dots that we have here, this is our H1 structure. Price is in this uptrend here. Currently on this H1, we got broke. We broke this higher low point here. All right. So we had a brand new impulse that broke this structure point. That tells us that there's a possibility that we can go down further, but where we sitting at right now on these both of these trend lines, we can't just assume that it's just gonna fall here just yet. We still gotta analyze price and get more data for the upcoming week. Right now, what I can say is that anytime we get a impulse. What comes after that, chat? Let me know in the comment section what comes after the impulse. My students, y'all don't gotta answer because I know y'all already know that. But for everybody on YouTube, what comes after impulse? Exactly. A correction. 100%. So, based off knowing that a correction comes after our brand new impulse, off the rip, we already kind of have an indication what the market is about to do because we just had this brand new impulse. And we sitting at this 4-hour trend line, and we sitting at this 1-hour trend line as well. So since we know all of those different things, that lets us know that there's a high probability chance that the market is going to bounce from this particular area because we got both of these trend lines and we need a correction, right? So we know that bare minimum, this gonna pull back into the levels of support that it broke, bare minimum, right? And then from there, we can see if we gonna get a continuation to the downside, or is this gonna pull back potentially into this little level and drop, or potentially into this level and drop, or just completely obliterate this structure and then just go like this, right? That's really like our options. But for right now, the right now money on our smaller time frames is pulling back up to this zone, and watch price here. So watch price here. And then also I'm gonna draw a very minor structure trend line here that kind of line up with that as well. So bare minimum, this is gonna pull back something like this. And that's still a solid, let's see how many pips that is. That's still a 200 pip move. You know what I'm saying? So like that's still very solid. But of course we will still have to give validity for this buy. I wouldn't just buy this blindly yet. I will still have to look to see, really, just like they said in the comment section, we just want to see this structure transition before we take any buys. And that's an easy little, yeah, that's an easy little trade once we get it, but we ain't got it yet. So we pretty much gotta wait for that. And then let me make this darker. Boom. So that ghost pattern, hopefully y'all can see that. And then I think that I made the, if this shit will load, hopefully y'all can see the background. Cool. Correction, then get money, absolutely. All right, we on the way background. When we do a quick buy, yup. Would you put a fib there once we get a point A to point B? But for this structure, yeah, we can have a fib like this, yeah. So bare minimum, I really would say watch price at this 38.2. That's really where I will look for that. And then we also got divergence here as well. And that's kind of hence why we had that reversal last week. But I want to see, like I said, I want to see how this kind of acts at this area. So the only reason why I'm not like super fixated on the buys is because of, like I mentioned, these forming these lower high points on this higher time frame structure. So like that's giving me indication that we could potentially fall. And once we get this, students, you already know what this is, but once we get this, let me make this a different color real quick. Once we get this variation on daily time frame, then we really probably will start to fall deeper. But like I said, it can go two ways right now. It ain't super clear, but our job as traders is not to predict weeks ahead. We just pretty much look at the right now money. So just be mindful of that. And then for a sell scenario, if this one to continue to sell, honestly, we ain't even got enough data to sell this right. Like, I would say the sell will come after that pullback and down into there. That's a potential. But we just gotta watch price in that area to see if we gonna get that sell off or not. So I put my new structure online on the H1 at the top, like 3403, until it make a lower high point. 3403. 3403. Oh, up here. Yeah, for H1, your H1 structure, yeah. But for your minor structures, no. Your minor structures will be down in this area. Can you do a transition structure on a 1 minute chart for gold? I mean, y'all don't really need to be on the 1 minute, but it's really almost the same as the 5 minute here. That's the last lower high point. So technically you broke above it, but I will wait till the market gets some more volume in it first before trying to do all of that. But all right, so we know we pulling back into this area tonight or tomorrow, and then I want to watch price. If we reject at this area, hell, let me just type this out for y'all. Sell scenario. If we begin to reject at this area, we can potentially sell down to negative 27. Buy scenario. If we break above and break lower high, then what's that level? 34,400. And then the sell fib is 32,282. All right, so that's pretty much, damn, hold on, let me fix that. This is pretty much what I'm looking at. So we either gonna do something like this and sell off, or we gonna do something like this and buy up to this area here, but hence the break of this lower high point. So that's pretty much what I'm getting at. Which broker do I use? I use Liquid Brokers, link in the description. There's also divergence on the 15-minute time frame. That is true. Great observation. So that goes hand in hand with our pullback bias, I should say, for right now. All right, so does anybody have any questions on gold before I move on? What time frame you use entry on gold? I use all the time frames necessary. So 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, whichever is necessary. So 5 minutes the lowest. Just wonder if I can go lower. Carry, you know, blueprint. So I would stick to M15, M30 until you master those entries first. How come you did not put your bottom trend line at the lowest point? Well, which bottom trend line? The black one? Is that the bottom trend line that you're referring to? Let me know which one you referring to, then I answer that question. Oh shit, my bad. I know that was loud. Yeah. So, because the reason why I didn't draw that black one where I drew it at is because this one tells me the best story. So, if I clear all of that off, I'm gonna draw 2 trend lines. This one got 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4 touch. If I draw it all the way from the bottom, let's draw it in black. It got 1 touch, 2 touch. So the blue one is telling me a better story in my opinion. And then even if I was to draw like a channel, it will look like such. Like this blue one kind of give me this like channel pattern versus that black one. So you don't always gotta draw it from just the lowest point. You always want to draw it from what's telling you the best story and price. And since this got the most bounces, it's giving me the most data that I need to, kind of figure out what's next. So hopefully that answers your question. Well, all right. So moving on to NASDAQ. Last week or 2 weeks ago, we was right here. We said we needed a little bit more data to see where price is headed in the right now moment. But what I mentioned was that if we broke above this breaker structure line, retested, that we would sell up to potentially this negative 27. As y'all can see, we broke above this lower high point, broke above. Well, this first break retest pushed up, and then we had a huge pullback out of nowhere, came back to test this level, and then we pushed up. So our overall target is still this negative 27. Oops. So let me go to the weekly time frame. Would the DXY divergence be a good confluence since they do opposite things? I haven't looked at the DXY just yet, but honestly, I stopped like looking at the DXY because sometimes lately you can have gold going up and the DXY going up. So I just honestly I just trade the pair for what it is in itself without all of the stuff that's like old Forex. It used to be like that where like you could look at the DXY going up, that mean gold go down. Or like you could look at GBP USD and GBP JPY, and since they both with GBP pairs, if GBP is going up, then both GBP pairs should be going up. But now it's not like that. Like the market conditions is a little different. So like I said, I just look at the pair for what it is by itself and don't really look at any like outsider stuff. So the DXY I treat it as its own pair. The gold has its own pair. Like yeah, you can get an idea, but like I said, I like to look at it for its own pair. But all right, so NASDAQ weekly time frame. Well, it's a new month, so really we should look at the monthly candle. Monthly candle closed super bullish. It looks really, really good to continue to print new highs for the new month. A weekly closed super bullish last week, so that's good. On daily, closed bullish, engulfed this candle here. Now we is starting to get a little ascending channel pattern, but we don't know how long that ascending channel is gonna last. So we just be mindful of that. But on a daily, we do got this level of resistance that we approaching, but like this kind of like a magnet, so it like attracts price into here. So I could definitely see price pulling into that area, which goes hand in hand with the bias that we had with that negative 27. That negative 27 lines up right in that area. And then on our H4, we pretty much just printed higher highs and higher lows. So Like if we look at this structure, and I probably should get rid of some of this stuff, but I haven't drawn my dots on here in a long time, so I really should probably do it from the top down, but I'm gonna just get away with it like this. All right, so yeah, our H4 is definitely printing these new higher highs and higher lows. So yeah, we looking real solid with that. And then let's look at H1, but let me look at this H4 real quick. Alright, so I might adjust this H4 trend line to like this. I like this one a lot better. And then we got this level of resistance here on H4. Alright, so H4 looks good. We can get rid of all of this shit. Really don't need none of that. Alright, so now we good. Clean and sexy charts. Alright, so where we are now on H1 is multiple scenarios that can happen with this, right? So H1, we can kind of see like we had this little impulse, we had this pullback, but now we sitting at this little minor consolidation. So we got this little level of support and then this little level of resistance here. Whichever way this break is kind of gonna give me an indication on what's about to happen next, because this could still break underneath, retest, and then fall, or it can break above, retest, and then push up to that negative 27. So whichever one it really give me is what I'll be kind of on the lookout for. But I just need it to give me, because overall I want to see this push up. The main bias, H4's higher highs, higher lows, and we haven't hit this negative 27 yet. But we just kind of gotta wait and see what's to it, right? So like how I was talking about on this daily time frame. Ben, save your question for the student call, because we only got 10 minutes left. But like I was saying, on a daily time frame, this is given like this ascending channel pattern here. So since we got this ascending channel pattern, like we don't know if this gonna drop, but it's kind of giving us a sign. But we got to get the other signs to say that it's gonna drop. So what I mean by that is like a break of structure, so forth and so on. So like we got to be mindful of that, but we still printing higher highs and higher lows, so we gonna stay in the uptrend until we say otherwise. So this right here, like I said, can do something like this, push underneath and then sell off, or break out of here and then continue to our targets here. So our main targets is 22,000. So this will be our target area that we look for. If we could break above and retest this area. If we break beneath and retest, then like I said, we could potentially target, what's this, 21.324, 21.324 potentially. So we just gotta wait and see. Somebody say, isn't that just a minor impulse with a correction? Yeah, but I mean, you still gotta be mindful of that. Like, it's still a decent size enough move where, like, if this give you the sell indications, then dropping to this is 300 points. So still got to be mindful of that. But like I said, if we break above here, then retest down, we could take that little buy, and that's a solid 200 points to that area. And then ultimately we still like keep them that ascending channel in mind. So that's just something we got to be mindful of. So really, it's just about reacting to price. Like, I don't really care to like be like 100% right on this call in the sense of like giving y'all the ghost pattern that is smack. Like, that don't really matter to me. What matters to me is y'all understanding, y'all learning why I'm looking at the stuff that I'm looking at and being able to react to it. That's really what matters the most. Because ultimately as traders, it's like, you want to be a master analyzer or you want to be a master money getter. Like, you got to ask yourself, like, I really don't care which way this go. Whatever way it go, then they let me know which way I need to go in order to make money. So that's really what it boiled down to. So that's what we got for NASDAQ. If y'all got any questions, drop those in the chat. You run through US 30 real quick. Yeah, I will. And then, can you take trades on your mobile device with your broker, Mike? Yeah, you can. They got mobile browser. But all right, so let's look at US 30 real quick, and then I'm gonna hop off here for my student call. And then y'all know me, I'm from Indiana, so I'm watching the finals right now. And well, not right now, but I'm watching the finals, and I hope my boys get it done. Halliburton came through crazy last game, so hopefully they get it done. So I got to make sure that I give enough time to my blueprint students, so I got to be on time to do that and then go watch the game. All right, so US 30, let's look at this from the highest time frames. The monthly, we looking good, still printing bullish nature. Weekly, we close bullish, still looking very, very bullish. Daily, we're looking good. Same thing as NAS though. We at this daily level of resistance. So now NAS had a little ways to go before getting to its resistance. US 30 is at its level of resistance. So it's you kind of got to play them a little different because NAS got some wiggle room. This one is really at this level. It's at the ceiling. So I'm eager to see how this plays out. H4. We got, now this structure ain't the best, but it's really, all of this shit is really consolidating in this little box right here. But it's also giving like kind of like a form of a ascendant channel starting to form. This ain't really the cleanest. That's why I'm like, US 30 kind of be throwing me off sometimes. But let me clear this stuff off. Oh shit, hold on. I'm clearing the stuff off from last time we was on. Okay, so yeah, this worked out. Last time we was on the call, we talked about breaking above this structure, retesting, then it carried up to this level. So that's exactly what price did last week. So if you follow, well, not last week, I keep saying last week, but last call, then you was able to take advantage of that. So currently where we at right now, let's get rid of this stuff. We don't need none of this stuff, boy. Yeah, honestly, I'm not a fan of US 30 right now. This don't look the cleanest to me, honestly. Call US 343 pips last week. That's what's up. Peep that right now. Money had a 15-minute break of structure area and just number one. Let's look. All right, hold on. Let's go back to the H4 real quick. And then let me draw this trend line. Alright, so we broke and retested this trend line. And then we also got this trend line like such. Sometimes I just be having to work and mark up in silence because this one a little iffy to figure out. All right, so currently where we at? We broke these little structure points here. Really on H4 it don't really get a best like structure. It's kind of like this right now. We could continue to push up like such, but we got to break above this level of resistance before we even look for that, right? Now, where we at on the smaller time frame structures though, we can see that we had this little impulse correction continuation, and then currently we sitting at this little level of resistance. Oops, wrong button. And oh shit, I got 30 seconds chat, so let me go over this real quick and then I gotta bounce. But all right, so we just broke above this little level of resistance. I would probably look to see this pull back like such, pull back into this little level again to go higher, and then if we sell off, sell it under here, so like such. So right now I'll look for this to pull back. Hold on, let me redraw that. Something like this. Yeah, like that. Easy peasy, chat. All right, so that's what I got. Watch price in this area right here. Price here for buys. If we break a structure line and retest, then sell it to the lows at 41,834. So what I mean by this break a structure, this is what I'm talking about. All right, so that's what I'm looking for. US, pretty self-explanatory. If y'all do got questions, just save them for the next call, because like I said, I do gotta go. I got my blueprint students a call at 7. So with that being said, I hope this call was super helpful for everybody. I will see you all again next week, same time, same place. I take that back, chat. Next Sunday is Father's Day, and my girl told me that my 5 to 7 p.m. is booked away, because technically it's my first Father's Day, even though the baby ain't here. The baby gonna be here 2 weeks after the Father's Day, so technically it's my first Father's Day. So I will see y'all again the next following Sunday, if I don't do it that Monday. If I do it that Monday, I'll let y'all know in the chat, and then we'll go from there, just like I put in my Telegram chat and just like I put it on my Instagram, so forth and so on. So make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe. I'll be notified if I do go live. And then let's get this channel to 1,000 subscribers. If we get this channel to 1,000 subscribers by next Sunday, I will do a live trading session with y'all. So let's run that subscriber count up, and I will see y'all all again next week. Blueprint students, if y'all on the Zoom, y'all just stay on. For everybody else on YouTube, I'll see y'all in a couple weeks or next week.